So everybody thinks Tantra is about sex, which it is very sex positive, but sex is really only about, they figure, 15% of Tantra. Tantra is basically a worldview, which is very different from the mainstream worldview, at least here in the West. So the Judeo-Christian worldview is that some things are, this is how Osho explained it, some things are sacred and some things are not. So, praying and wanting to go to heaven and being a good person and not cheating on your taxes, all these things are sacred. And not sacred is, if you grew up in the religion I grew up in, basically having fun. Sex is not sacred, and it used to be so absurd that, dancing wasn't sacred, and it depends on which tradition you're in. There's a whole list of things that are not sacred, and you're trying to be sacred. And in Tantra, which is a very ancient philosophy, they don't know how old it was. It may even be it's at least 6,000 years old, but it's gone through many different things. It's not one thing. And it's the philosophy basically that everything is sacred. So let's just take a breath right now, as if everything was sacred. That would mean right now, right here, all of us, we're in a sacred space. And in Tantra, we try to, as Tantrikas, as people who practice Tantra, we try to remember that this is a sacred space. These people are sacred beings. And I don't usually remember that because my mind is usually going, yeah, but it's too hot. And I don't think that person is smiling. And we have this constant mind chatter because we grew up in the West. We were taught to always look for what's wrong and not what's right. So the mind is often trying to keep us safe by telling us what's wrong, this person doesn't seem safe, and so on. In Tantra, we try to remember that some people aren't safe, but we're also trying to remember that if I can relax enough, I can remember I'm in a sacred space. Most of us have had an experience, we call them peak experiences in psychology, where you've had some kind of experience, maybe through psychedelic drugs, maybe through hiking or dancing a lot, or through great sex. Maybe you've walked up Runyon and you get to the top of the big hike and you're full of endorphins and you look out in the city and you just go, everything's perfect. How many have had an experience like that? Okay, great. And you just have that experience like, something's perfect. In Tantra, we think that's how it really is. We just can't see it. So we do a lot of exercises to try to relax enough to remember that and be in that state and to get our bodies woken up. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that.